and welcome to Day 4 of the San Diego Unified Visual Arts and Performing Arts Online Theater Workshop Series. I am Miss Bianca, your instructor and your guide. Let's get started for today. We have a lot to learn today. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to say, I can improvise as an actor. I can use my body, voice, and imagination to clearly express a story on stage. I can warm up my body, voice, and imagination. Now let's get started. It is time for a recap. Time to review what we learned last video. An actor has to use their body to portray a story on stage. An actor can use gestures or facial expressions to clearly express an emotion or idea on stage. Pantomime is a type of theatrical storytelling when an actor uses their body and not any words to tell a story on stage. Now let's get started with our warm-ups. Our first warm-up will be an imagination exercise. In our warm-up imagination exercise for today, remember to make sure you have plenty of space to move around, and remember to use all of the space available to you to act out this activity. Now remember, in our imagination exercise, we are going to imagine we are doing an activity that we're not really doing. Today, I want you to role play as if you were ice skating. Now, it doesn't matter if you've never ice skated before or if you're an ice skating professional. The idea is to imagine what it must be like to ice skate. So if you're ready to go, let's get started. So imagine you have already put on your skates and you're ready to go out into the ice skating rink. As you go into the ice skating rink and you can see all of the people around you, watch out. I think someone just passed by you very quickly. Be very careful going onto the ice skating rink. As you go into the ice skating rink, try to find your balance. For some of you, this may be absolutely easy, but it's also okay to imagine that it's not that easy. So as you go into the ice skating rink, imagine what it must feel like to have the ice underneath you. Imagine how cold it is. Are you outside or are you inside an ice skating rink? Now, as you start to gain some speed on your ice skates, imagine what it must feel like for the wind to hit your face. Maybe you're ice skating outside and it's snowing at the same time. Or maybe you're ice skating inside and it's a great temperature and all you can feel is the cold air underneath you. As you continue to skate, imagine you're getting faster and faster. Maybe you have friends with you who can help you skate. Maybe you know how to do some ice skating tricks, like spinning around. Or maybe you know how to flip on your ice skates. But be careful, make sure there's plenty of space around you to do so. Or maybe you can glide very gracefully on your ice skates. Now, as you continue to use the whole space to ice skate on your ice skating rink, imagine all of the people around you also enjoying the ice skating rink. Are those people close to you or are they very, very far away? Is this a huge ice skating rink with just a few people? Or is it a very small ice skating rink where you're close to everyone? Continue to skate and feel the wind on your face. And scene. I hope you enjoyed ice skating in that imagination exercise. Okay, in the second part of this imagination warm-up exercise, we are going to imagine we are singing karaoke. So when you sing karaoke, you do have a microphone and some really loud speakers or maybe even a band behind you. Imagine you are singing karaoke and this is your absolute favorite song. Maybe you have a live band playing behind you as you sing karaoke. Imagine what that song sounds like. Do you remember all the words to your song? Imagine you have an audience in front of you, or maybe it's you and your friends or people from your home helping you sing your favorite song. Imagine how loud your voice can get as you continue to sing your favorite lyrics. Imagine you maybe even have dancers behind you helping dance to your favorite song. Imagine that you hit every every note of your favorite song. And imagine that the crowd goes wild, cheering for you and applauding your amazing performance. And scene. Excellent job, actors. Okay, everyone, now it's time to warm up our voices. To get started, we are going to put our hands on our stomach and near our diaphragm, and we're going to use our diaphragm to count to 10. But first, let's take a deep breath and let it out. Okay, now we are going to count to 10, starting very soft and quietly, and then getting louder as we count to 10. Are you ready? Let's do it. On the count of 3, start. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent job, actors. Now this time we are going to change it up a little bit. This time we are going to count to 10, but we are going to count to 10 as if we are a little child. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent job. Now we're going to change our voice and we're going to count to 10 as if we are an opera singer. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe not a very good opera singer, but an opera singer nonetheless. Now we are going to count to 10, but we're going to start from 10, counting backwards. We are going to start very loudly and then get softer as we go. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent job, actors. Now it's time for our tongue twisters. Today our tongue twisters will be Unique New York and Buggy Bumpers. Okay, let's go. Let's start with Unique New York. Let's say it 6 times together. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Unique New York, 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 Unique New York. Excellent job, actors. Now let's say it a little bit faster. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Unique New York, 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 Unique New York. Excellent job, actors. Now let's try our second tongue twister. Our second tongue twister is Buggy Bumpers. On the count of 3, let's go. 6 times together. 1, 2, 3. Buggy bumpers, buggy bumpers, buggy bumpers, buggy bumpers, buggy bumpers, buggy bumpers. Excellent job, actors. Now let's say it again a little bit faster. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Buggy bumpers, buggy bumpers, buggy bumpers, buggy bumpers, buggy bumpers, buggy bumpers. Excellent job. Now that we have properly warmed up our voices, now let's focus on warming up our bodies. We're going to start warming up our bodies by shaking first our wrist. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. 1, 2, 3. Switch. 1, 2, 3. Switch. 1, 2. Switch. 1, 2. Switch. 1. Switch. 1. And done. Excellent job, actors. Now let's warm up our legs by bending our knees. On the count of 3, follow me. 1, 2, 3. Bend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, switch. 1, 2, switch. 1, switch. 1, and done. Excellent job, actors. Now we're going to warm up our faces. Let's start by closing our eyes and opening our eyes. Now we're going to frown, make a frown with our eyebrows, and then raise our eyebrows. Then we're going to open our mouths very wide and close your mouth very tightly. Now we're going to make the biggest smile we've made all day. And I want you to make the biggest frown you've made all day. Excellent job. Now we're going to switch to our shoulders. Pull your shoulders to your ears and drop them. And pull them up and drop them. And pull them up and drop them. And pull them up and drop them. Excellent job. Now we're going to shake our head no. No. And then we're going to shake our head yes. Yes. And no. Yes. And no. Yes. No. Yes. And no. Yes. Excellent job, actors. Now that we have warmed up our bodies, our voices, and our imagination, now let's start with our acting activity. There is an important tool actors can use to tell a story on stage. It is called improvisation. Say that with me. Improvisation. Excellent. Improvisation is the art of acting out a story without a script and with little or no planning. You have to act without a script. Well, what is a script? A script are the words a playwright uses to tell a story on stage. Usually, when actors are acting in theater, they are using words from a script. Usually, those actors have to memorize those words and tell the story according to the words in their script. However, with improvisation, there is no script at all. In improvisation, you may be given a situation or scenario, like you're in a building and you just heard an explosion, or a structure. Maybe you begin the scene with one emotion and end with a completely different emotion. But you have no script. So you have to use your imagination to come up with what you will do and say on stage. Here are some helpful rules for improvisation. Number 1, begin the scene with as much energy as possible. Exaggerate everything. Use the body to express a mood on stage, like we did in pantomime. Make vocal choices, like we did in our warm-up activity today. Maybe you want to sing, maybe you want to sound like a child, or you want to sound like an opera singer. But make sure you make that vocal choice and stick with it for the entire scene. Listen to the other actors on stage. Always say yes to the suggestions of other actors. For example, honeycomb is delicious. Yeah, I've been eating this honeycomb on a spaceship for 45 years. No, we're not on a spaceship. This honeycomb is delicious.
Yeah, we've been eating this honeycomb on this spaceship for 45 years.
I love being on a spaceship. So this is a great example of how we should never say no in improvisation. If the actor says no, it stops the scene altogether. However, if your other fellow actor suggests something, you always want to say yes, so we can keep the scene going. Allow each suggestion to continue the story forward. Now let's try an activity with improvisation. In this activity, we are going to combine improvisation and pantomime. Remember, in pantomime, you can only use your body and not your words. Excellent job. Here are your instructions. I will first start by pantomiming an activity. I won't tell you the activity. You will watch the activity as my audience very closely. As you catch on to the activity, stand up in your place and join me in the activity. Remember, no talking is allowed. You can only pantomime your activity. Now, be sure to join the activity in a cooperative way. What I mean by that is ask yourself, what could I do to help the person in this scene? What could I do to help and not hurt the activities that have already begun? Before we do this, we will start with a practice sheet in your journal. So, take out your theater journals. At the top of one page in your theater journal, write "Join In." This is the name of our improvisation game. If I begin pantomime painting something, what are some helpful activities you could do that would help in the situation? What are a few and interesting helpful activities that could add to the scene? For example, could you also help me paint? Could you paint in a different direction? Could you pretend that you're cleaning up around the paint? Could you grab a fan to help the paint dry? Could you be a fan that's helping the paint dry? So pause the video right now and write down some different activities that you could do to add to this scene. Okay, what if I begin writing on a chalkboard like this? What are some activities you could do that could add to the scene? Who else could you be in the scene? For example, if I'm writing on the board and I'm a teacher, could you pretend to be a student in the classroom? Could you pretend to also help me write on the board? Or could you pretend to help me erase things on the board? Now pause the video right now and write down some other helpful activities that you could do that would add to that scene. Okay, what if I pantomimed eating? Who else could you be in the scene? What else could you be in the scene? What could you do that could help the person that's eating? Pause the video right now and write down some activities that you could do that would add to that scene. Remember, you don't have to pantomime or act out the same thing. Try doing something different and see if that adds to the activity. Okay, now let's try it. I am going to begin pantomiming an activity. Watch my activity closely. After you think you know what I'm doing, stand up and join me in the activity. Remember to try to do something that will add to the scene or add to the activity. Try to think of something that could help me with my activity. After I am done with my activity, I will say scene and you can get ready for the next activity. Are you ready? Let's go. Scene. 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 Notice a couple of things about this activity. Remember one of the rules of improvisation. You had to say yes to everything. If you did not say yes to any of the activities, you would leave me there alone to act out the activity by myself. So every time you joined in on the activity, you were saying yes on stage. Also, remember our rule for both pantomime and improvisation. You want to use all of your body to tell the story. If you don't use your movements clearly, your audience or your fellow actors may not be able to tell what you're doing. And you were improvising. Congratulations! You weren't following a script. You were using your imagination to add to the scene. Great job! Now it's time for review. Improvisation is the act of telling a story with little or no planning and with no script at all. A script is a collection of words a playwright uses to tell a story on stage. Actors have to use that script to tell their story. The rules of improvisation are: number 1, begin with as much energy as possible. Number 2, use the body to express a character or a mood. Number 3, make vocal choices. Number 4, listen and pay attention to the other actors on stage. And number 5, always say yes to the suggestions of other actors. Now, for homework. Option number 1, in your journal, you will create your own situation for this activity. What activities could you do on stage to play a character or to tell a story? How could others join you and add to the scene? Create 4 more actions that you could improvise and pantomime. Now practice pantomiming these actions on your own or with teddy bears or anyone else as your audience. Remember to face forward so they can see your activities. Option number 2, grab anyone in your home to be your partner and join you in this activity. Explain the rules of the activity or show them the first part of the video. Remember, you need to start the activity for them without talking. Once they think they know what you're doing, then they can join you in pantomime and add to the scene. When you are ready for the next activity, say scene. Discuss with your partner the activity. Did they guess correctly? How did their movements change the scene for you? Be sure to record this activity and add this to your video journal. Note, it is okay if your partner did not correctly guess the activity. Use their feedback to help you understand how an audience might interpret your movements. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me in this wonderful world of theater. I'm Miss Bianca, and I'll see you next time.